So, since Arc 4 is confirmed to be happening, and it is happening, I hope. I hope it wasn't, a fluke of some sort, or that we just all imagined it, or were delusional enough to imagine a timeline where Arc 4 is happening. But assuming it is happening, I just want to speculate on some possible storylines or some events that might happen in the future of the series. Now, Tui said that she wanted the protagonists of the next arc to be the younger dragonettes that we see in the current arcs. So that would be Auklet, Cliff, Peacemaker, Bumblebee, and maybe Dusky? I don't know if Dusky either stayed back in Pantala or he's moving. Maybe his family decided to move to Paria to start a new life because they were like, well, things kind of went a little haywire there, so might as well move. Don't want to stay in these hives. Yeah, I assume that more Silkwings are going to move to Pyria because they probably don't really want to stay in the hives where they've been basically enslaved for their whole lives. So that's another thing in Arc 4. Maybe there's going to be a mass migration of Silkwings out of the hive wings because they're going to be like, oh, this place kind of sucks. I want to move. I don't feel like being a servant anymore. And who can blame them, really? But in terms of story, I think you can have a pretty interesting story with Peacemaker. I think everybody has that little AU story where Peacemaker kind of figures out that he's actually Darkstalker, which could be an interesting storyline to explore if it's done correctly. My thoughts go on like, what would the reaction be of the other dragons that did want to follow Darkstalker, that kind of agreed that they kind of wanted to make their tribe great, or as great as it once was before? Because I can imagine some dragons that followed Darkstalker to the old Nightwing City. They saw the city and they were like, wow, we used to live here. I mean, we lived in a volcano and we choked on ash every day and we almost starved to death. And our tribe used to live here. And Darkstalker isn't as bad as they say. I mean, he hasn't bitten my head off. He hasn't eaten me or whatever the stories were. I mean, he's actually a pretty cool dude. So I can imagine some like Darkstalker loyalists forming around his cause. And once he disappeared, I mean, those Nightwings are going to have questions. They're going to go, what happened to Darkstalker? Where did he go? I'm sure they're going to start investigating. So I feel like this would be a good chance to introduce an antagonist. Maybe one of those Darkstalker loyalists, and he's snooping around. He's going, what happened to Darkstalker? Who are these two new Nightwings we've never seen before? Which would be Darkstalker's mom and Peacemaker. Like, where did he come from? They just appeared at, like, they weren't at the volcano. Like, who's this new dragon called Hope? We've never seen her before. She only came here after Darkstalker left or disappeared. It's strange. Very, very strange. Then eventually it slips out. Somebody slips out that Peacemaker is Darkstalker. It's, I'm gonna be honest, it's probably gonna be Kinkajou that spills the beans here. She's probably gonna, like, on accident, she's gonna be talking to Moon or something, or, no, not Moon, because she'll probably figure out somebody's nearby. Kinkajou's probably gonna be talking to, I don't know, Hope. And then she's gonna mention Darkstalker and stuff. And then our new Nightwing antagonist is gonna connect the dots. And he's gonna be like, oh my god, Peacemaker is Darkstalker. What have they done? In fact, I think, if I may be so bold, I think the first book could be through the perspective of the main antagonist. That way we can flesh him out a little bit and get to know more of his motivations and why he's doing it. So I just think it would be interesting to have a book where the point of view is through an antagonist. I think the only other time, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it would be Darkstalker. But that book was shared amongst other point of views, so it wasn't just an antagonist POV. Now, I feel like in this book, the Darkstalker loyalists will want to separate from the Rainwing tribes, the Rainwing Nightwings, and make their own tribe, just all based around Darkstalker and what he wanted. And I think they're gonna come to the very extreme conclusion that in order to free Darkstalker, they were gonna have to kill Peacemaker.
It would seem that the only way to free Darkstalker from his prison is to kill Peacemaker.
Are you sure? That seems a bit morbid.
I'm afraid we have no choice. It must be done.
I really don't know about this. It seems wrong.
Kill him. Do it. Do it.
Palpatine is also there. But from then on, we get to Peacemaker's book, and then he embarks on a quest to not die, to dodge some Darkstalker loyalists and uncover his past. What a great story that I haven't fleshed out at all, and that I'm kind of just making up as I go, but it's just speculation, so it's okay. Also, one other thing, this arc needs another POV with the Mudwings. Get a Mudwing character in there. Although I really do want to know what happened to Umber and Sora, I don't think we're gonna get that in this arc. So hopefully Toei makes at least a winglet about it, because that's a book I'd really like to see be made. Just what happened to them? Did they fall off the face of the earth? Did they change identities? Are they living under a different name? Honestly, if Umber and Sora went back to the Mud Kingdom and told the rest of the Mudwings that they tried to kill an Icewing, they probably would not really care that much. Although she didn't kill an Icewing, she killed a Skywing and a Nightwing. But I don't think they would care much anyway. As for the other characters, I mean, I'm sure Toei will come up with something. I'm sure glad it's not my job to think of a story. But I'm sure not everyone is, happy and friendly towards each other, because, I mean, I assume 20 years of war make some dragons harbor just a little bit of resentment or maybe hatred towards other tribes, so I'm sure there's going to be conflicts arising. A lot of Sandwings that were allied with one of the sisters might not like Thorn all that much. So I'm sure there's going to be like small pockets of a resistance trying to get their own independence and not kneel to the queen that just became queen because the little doohickey told her she was. And then maybe these dragons can team up with the Nightwings, the loyalist Nightwings, to gain their independence, and then more conflicts kind of brew, and it's a whole Game of Thrones. Nah, I can't do that. That's copyrighted. Damn it! Anyway, what do you think might happen in the fourth arc? Anything can happen now. So when the fourth arc releases, I'm gonna read the first book, and then I'm gonna come back to this video and see how I did. There's a very small chance I just predicted the future. And that would be the most impressive thing I've ever done. Anyway, that was my speculation for Arc 4. It wasn't very thought out, it wasn't very thorough, it wasn't really a story at all. But it's just some of my thoughts. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.